Hello, friends. UFC Fight Night Recap. Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov, a.k.a. UFC on ABC, a.k.a. UFC Abu Dhabi. I'm going to be recapping the entire night. It was a good card, actually, low-key a great card, but there were multiple things that stood out to me. One, the commentary. The glazing this week was off the charts. The neck was crazy. It was sloppy. It was just everywhere. Not sloppy as in, like, actually, if you understood what I said there, you'll understood what I said there. But it started from the first fight, and it didn't stop even at the fucking main event. It was straight glazing. Straight glazing. A couple of tweaky decisions as well. I'm not too sure about them. I think that maybe some people got possibly robbed. Maybe not, though. Maybe not, though. They were competitive fights. I did tweak on some picks. Some dudes got violated, but did all right overall. I think I was 8-5 with the picks, but we will double check that in a wee bit. Starting off, first bout of the night, the first prelim was a middleweight men's bout, Cedric Dumas versus Denis Tululin. This was a good fight. This was a good opener, I think, actually, for the card. Denis Tululin looked a lot better than he has recently. Now, that might just be the skill level of Cedric Dumas, but who knows, honestly? I don't know. I like Cedric Dumas as a fighter. He's not, like, too boring to me. I think he actually has room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement, and potential in that aspect. Like, he's growing. He's growing as a fighter. He did tweak out. He won the fight pretty much handily, by decision, as I called, but he tweaked out at the end, right? He started saying some stuff about his family and tragedy that has befallen the house of Dumas, you could say. His house burned down, like, recently. I think his mom or his dad had passed away, like, or was sick, something like that, and I really hope the best for all of them, but he then bugged out after that, and he started talking about his, like, criminal history, or alleged criminal history, I should say. And I'm going to tell you something. Cedric Dumas was like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. Like, all that stuff is behind me in the past. Like, bro.
After everybody want to badmouth me,
not
I'm a woman beat online.
That was some shit
no,
that you should have kept to yourself, to be
I ain't no
honest with you,
fucking. I'm
because if you
excuse
do
my
a
language. I ain't no
little
woman
bit
beat.
of little
I
dive
come in
into
the gym
Cedric Dumas'
every day, work my tail off. That was in the past. That was some BS. And I'm here to stay, like I told you.
I'm not going to talk too much about it. I might throw
I'm here
up
to
like a
stay. Don't give up on me, big man.
Really, you can research that yourself and find out. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, Cedric Dumas, like, it's actually too late. It's not. I'm not even going to say never say that again. The cat's out of the bag at this point. You should have kept that to yourself, bro. People would have probably found it out if you eventually became, like, a known name, a known fighter, but hey, man, like, I'm not trying to cover for the guy. I'm just saying that was a tweaky thing to do, bro. Like, oh, God, in his post-fight interview, Octagon interview, dude just starts going off onto his, oh, God, man. Anyway, Cedric Dumas was able to get it done in pretty decisive fashion. There were maybe moments of danger for him coming from Denis Tululin, but nonetheless, Cedric Dumas gets it done, as I said. Moving on to a pretty good fight, Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya, men's lightweight bout. I had picked Rolando Bedoya in this one. It was an emotional pick. I made that disclaimer very clear. It was an emotional pick. I'll try to support my Peruvian brothers when I can. However, bro, Rolando Bedoya looked actually decent. I'll say that. Jai Herbert looked great. That's the thing. Jai Herbert looked great. He is a very clean technical striker and a very slick counter striker. I'm talking about Jai Herbert here. And you could see that. Rolando Bedoya he was struggling off rip to get inside to close the distance and land shots on Jai, but then it really started just getting harder and harder for him, especially once Jai really got the sense of timing and the speed. There was a speed difference, especially between the jabs and straights. And again, it goes back to clean striking. Jai Herbert utilizes a lot of snappy jabs at range to start poking at the opponent, lowering the defenses and racking up points simultaneously. It worked wonders in this fight. Not to say that Jai Herbert just had a flawless victory. Jai Herbert took some damage himself. I actually thought Rolando Bedoya had won a round. At least one round. I think it was round 2. I think that 2:30-27 scorecards just that tainted the fight for me. It tarnished the entire fight. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, that was predetermined. The 30-27s. Predetermined scorecards. That's okay, though. They're trying to build Jai Herbert back up, I think, because they know that Jai Herbert is actually a good fighter and he is entertaining to watch, and they really want him to win. I don't think that was the whole sentiment with this matchup. Rolando Bedoya could have won this fight. I just think when it went to decision, they're going to do what they're going to do. Moving on. Women's strawweight bout. First women's bout on the card. I think one of only two. Both bouts were good, though. First one being strawweight bout, Victoria Dudakova versus Sam Sampage Hughes. I was confident in Victoria Dudakova to get this one done, but if you watched my prediction video, I kind of predicted what was going to happen, unfortunately. I was saying, unless Sam Hughes comes out and bullies fucking Victoria Dudakova like Leon got bullied, Victoria should take this one. I think she's better all around. It seemed that way up until Sam Hughes started to pour it on her, and maybe Victoria got a little gassed herself. I'm not going to lie, this one might have been a robbery, actually. I don't know if it was exactly. It was a close fight, but I thought that the control combined with the early striking from Victoria Dudakova in round 3 was enough to give her that round. But the judges didn't think so. I thought that was a little bit of a tweaky decision. Ultimately, not too tweaky. Victoria Dudakova, they gave Sam Hughes a new nickname, which actually is a lot more appropriate. I think the Prospect Killer. I think that is appropriate because I was trying to tell people, Sam Hughes is not just a dog shit fucking NPC fighter. She's actually a very good, first kind of litmus test to see, are you going to be something? That's exactly what I said. That's kind of what showed out in the fight, even though I'm not entirely certain that she decisively won. Sam Hughes did. She was awarded the win by decision. Moving on. A kind of rough start to the card, 1 and 2, but we move on to a fantastic comeback and an emotional win for Guram Kutateladze when he fought Jordan Vucenic, up-and-coming prospect out of the UK, I believe. First off, I want to say Jordan Vucenic, if he had the possibility of actually having one of the best, and aside from one of the best, a completely flawless debut, short notice replacement debut, would have kicked the door down completely. He still kind of did. I'm not going to lie. Jordan Vucenic really did show out despite losing. He tweaked out crazily. I see people are now trying to cover for him and being like, oh, he gassed, he did all this shit. I don't think he gassed. I think he got fried. I think that he was confident. He thought that he was up 2 rounds and there was nothing that could be done to him aside from being finished. And so he was content with riding out the 3rd round. That's not the case, though, bro. That's not the case, though, little bro. First round, he dog-walked Guram Kutateladze. Almost finished him. Dropped him with a hellacious punch. And then Guram was able to survive, though. That was the thing. I actually thought the fight was going to end there. I thought Jordan Vucenic was going to get a round 1 KO TKO over Guram Kutateladze, but no. Not at all, bro. I had spoken about Elvis Brenner, someone that we'll go to later in this card, about he's one of the... I'm going to make a video on this, too. He's the archetype of the fighter, a secret, like a sub-archetype, you could say. The struggler. A dude that actually struggles against fate. I'm not going to put the Guts theme in here. No Berserk references right now aside from the struggler. Guram showed us that he is a struggler. He struggled. He struggled against fate to win this fight. Not like he was supposed to lose, or a lot of people even thought he was going to lose. I'm pretty sure he was the favorite, but that instantly changed about a minute and a half into the fight. People were like, oh shit, it's spooky hours for Guram. I was saying it was spooky hours for Guram. I was literally saying to myself, it's over. Like, once Jordan started to follow up, Guram survived, though, insanely. In the 2nd round, Guram was able to rally more, get into the fight. He really got in there and arguably won that round. That's the thing. He arguably won the 2nd round. He was in there deep. And then I think maybe the coaches of Jordan Vucenic told him, I want to actually give a shout out to the coaching staff of Jordan Vucenic and a dude who commented, who trains at his gym. I might even throw that picture in there. He put on a fantastic fucking fight. You can't tweak, though. He tweaked. Silly limey, wins are for winners, bro. If the fight is still going on, why the fuck are you celebrating? Like, that was the craziest thing. He accepted getting his back taken, right? And that was a nasty, nasty body triangle that Guram had locked up. And then fucking Jordan Vucenic starts raising his hands. Like, and then my favorite part of it, This shit made me, like, almost bite my lip with pleasure. While he's raising his hands, Garam gives him a couple cracks to the face, and then he puts his hands down. Garam puts his hand up. You're like, that's what I'm saying. Like, get fucked, you dumbass. Like,
you stupid
that
fucking
makes me
limey.
take pleasure in your loss. As hard of a loss and as tough of a loss as it was. I say that because Jordan Vucenic, despite this loss, I think he has a very promising future in the UFC. That dude might even have champion-level qualities, actually. He has the look. His tats are crazy. It looks like he got, like, both of his arms covered up or some shit. He has, like, I don't know. Or maybe he just blacked them out, like, on some fucking 2K shit. He has, like, 2K My Player tats, legitimately, if you look at him. Or, like, UFC Creative Fighter tats. Like arms blacked out, ton of shit on his chest and back. He has the look. Like, if people look at him and watch him fight and he fights well, he'll make a name of himself off that alone. But Garam showed heart. He really just showed heart. Like, I think Jordan Vucenic was actually better than Garam Kutaladze now that we take a look on it. And conditioning might have something to do with it. But let's not just cope. Like, don't cope. I cope all the time. I've coped multiple times on this channel. But do not cope. Jordan Vucenic did not get dog walked, but he did get smoked. He got smoked on. We rolled him up and smoked him. Which brings me to actually something I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video. This will not be Smoky Hours recap. Just not this week. Maybe next week. Just not this week. But please feel free to roll something up, spark it along your boy, and I will keep you company as I recap these fights. Fantastic fight. This was actually my fight of the night. A lot of people were saying that other fights were the fight of the night. This was the fight of the night for me. I don't know why neither of these dudes didn't get a bonus, but fuck it. Fuck it, I guess. Moving on. Heavyweight bout. Shamil Gaziev versus Don'Tale Mayes. Now, I had picked Shamil Gaziev. I had faith in him. I had picked against him versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik because I knew that that was just a level above. But Don'Tale Mayes is multiple levels below Shamil Gaziev. Not the most entertaining or action-packed fight, but a decent fight nonetheless. We saw a lot of ground game from Shamil Gaziev, you know, and a little bit more of that cardio. That's good. We want to see cardio from Shamil Gaziev because that was the killer, unfortunately, against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Rather, fortunately for me. Shamil Gaziev got it done in very dominant fashion. However, that's a good win to get yourself back in the column. He got sent back to the prelims. Jairzinho Rozenstruik sent him back to the fucking prelims, but now we'll probably see him on a main event of a fight night, main card at least. Moving on. Muhammad, yeah, there's not much to say about that. Shamil Gaziev just dominated the entire fight. Not necessarily a dog walking, but a domination. Moving on. This was a dog walking. Muhammad Yahya versus Cowie Fernandez. I almost said Francis. Cowie Fernandez. I picked Cowie Fernandez. Cowie Fernandez legitimately dog walked Muhammad Yahya in fantastic fashion in his hometown. There's nothing more that you can really ask for, actually. Muhammad Yahya, they were hyping this dude up crazily. I picked against him because if Trevor Peek is putting hands on you ridiculously, there's a problem with that. Like, there's a real problem with that. And against a dude like Cowie Fernandez, who not only has hands, but he can grapple, I had Muhammad Yahya getting finished in the first round. He got finished. Brutally, too. And it was fantastic. Fucking Cowie Fernandez, you're going to see in the thumbnail of this video, he was, like, emoting. He was, like, dancing. It was great. It was great. Fantastic work by Cowie Fernandez. Showed a lot of sharp, clean striking. Muhammad Yahya, get him the fuck out of here. We don't need to see him. We don't need to see that dude fight ever again. Moving on. Alonzo Menefield versus Azamat Murzakanov. Man, I knew Murzakanov was good. I knew he was nice like that, specifically with the boxing. I just thought that Alonzo would be able to land. That's honestly it. I thought Alonzo would be able to land, and that would be all the difference. However, and he did. Alonzo did get a couple of shots in, but Azamat was in the driver's seat the entire time. Alonzo Menefield showed an insane chin, though, because there were multiple shots that I was like, oh shit, that's the beginning of the end. I was like, this is a finishing sequence here. And he took them. It was just a little combination, an extended combination all the way at the end that dropped him bad. That was a fair stoppage. He was taking a fuck ton of damage. Shout out to Alonzo Menefield, but bigger shout out to Azamat Murzakanov because that was a fantastic fucking performance, man. Alonzo Menefield, brother. Ah, shit. That was a rough one. That was a rough one. That was a rough one to lose. Speedy recovery for Alonzo Menifield. God. Moving on to pain. Pain. Spooky hours, actually. Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner. God, man, I picked Elvis Brenner, the struggler. If he won, if he came back in the third round, I would have screamed in my live reaction, play the fucking Guts theme for Elvis Brenner. But he didn't. In fact, he got finished. Now, Joel Alvarez is nice. I knew Joel Alvarez is an extremely deadly fighter. That's an attribute, an adjective that we have to reserve. He's a deadly and lethal fighter, meaning he finishes fights. He doesn't just let them go to decision. He finishes fights. Not only does he finish fights, when he has people hurt, he actively hunts for that finish. He doesn't just take it easy, stay composed. He's like, all right, let's see if you can get out of here. Let's see if I can get you out of here right now. He tried a couple times that Elvis did survive. One particular attempt was a nasty Darce choke that Elvis had to chill in for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Enough time to tap. More than enough time to tap and put him out, actually. But he wrote it out. I mean, he just couldn't ever get anything going. Joel Alvarez just kept moving forward, and that's a really good strategy that we don't see as many longer, taller fighters use, I think. They're content with standing their ground and trying to catch people as they cover the distance. Joel Alvarez actually uses the range as like a spear, and he's moving forward constantly and hitting you at range rather than letting you come to him. And it works well for him. Works very well for him. I'd like to see more dudes do that. Fantastic performance from Joel Alvarez. Shout out to Elvis Brenner, bro. I love Elvis Brenner, but that was a bad one. That was a bad loss. Took a lot of damage in that. Showed insane heart, but took a fuck ton of damage. Moving on to a fight that gave me fucking AIDS, basically. Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez, the second women's fight. I had picked Lupita Godinez to win this one by decision because Mackenzie Dern, as I said, is deceptively dog shit. She made me eat my words. The biggest criticism that I think that anyone that's watched Mackenzie Dern fight multiple times is her striking. Her striking is non-existent. She had a tiny pinch of power, but her technique is dog shit. And that actually brings me to something else. But first, her striking was levels improved. It was worlds apart from her previous fights. Her boxing actually looked very clean and very powerful. Bringing me to my next point, almost too powerful. The first thing I noticed, I was like, damn, Mackenzie Dern's head looks bigger. Like, her face looks like it's elongated into, like, a snout, almost. Like, I was like, Jesus, Mackenzie, are you on the fucking Brock Lesnar cycle? And she was hitting like she was, bro. I don't know. Like, Mackenzie Dern, that shit was a little nutty. I think she's on the shit that makes your head get bigger. It was a good fight, a good performance. I thought Lupita stood there the entire time with her. I did have to give Mackenzie Dern the little edge in round 3. I don't think that this one was a robbery. It was a very close fight that Mackenzie Dern did come out on top of. Lupita Godinez, oh God, that one let me down, man. Because Lupita Godinez was actually one of my most confident picks on this entire card. I thought she was going to mollywop Mackenzie. But, hey. Moving on. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. I picked Michael Chiesa to get it done, I think, by KO, TKO, or submission. I had called him winning that one by finish, but he did get it done by first round finish. It was a submission, and it wasn't the worst loss for Tony. It was a quick loss. I mean, that's another loss by finish, too, by submission. But the thing is, thank God it wasn't brutal. That's really what I think everyone was hoping for. It's about to, like, start pouring outside, and the light is leaving me. Gotta hurry up. But Tony Ferguson, man, he just gets choked out. Super simple. He gets brutalized, kind of. Not brutalized in the sense of he got knocked the fuck out and dudes, like, took years off of his life. He just got out-muscled, straight up submitted. There's not much to say about that one because this was a very short fight, and Tony, I think some people were expecting a lot more from Tony. I actually saw a scary amount of bets on DraftKings in favor of Tony Ferguson, but hey, Michael Chiesa got it done. Good for him. Moving on, bantamweight bout, the featured fight, Marlon Chito Vera versus Davison Dudaguera, the God of War, Figueiredo. I had picked Davison Figueiredo to get this one done actually by submission, and while he never was even really close, he did almost finish fucking Cheeto by dropping him bad. That would have been fantastic. Davison Figueiredo showed us that he literally is just a level above most fighters. Even moving up a weight class, he still has power, and he's fast as hell. Even though he's giving up a little bit of size to a dude like Cheeto, Cheeto looked notably bigger than him, still mollywopped him. Took every shot that came his way, ducked in, and then traded some in the pocket and rocked Cheeto a couple times. Now, Cheeto's chin is insane. He also has crazy heart. But Davison Figueiredo decisively won, I think, every round. There was never really a round in doubt for me. It was very calm. Great fight for Marlon Vera, but I think he's going to lose some stock after this one. Davison Figueiredo just jumped up the line even more for a title shot. God damn, it's getting dark. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. Jesus Christ. The co-main event. Shit, I might as well turn the light on. The co-main event. Shara Magomedov, Shara Bullet versus Mikhail Hussar. Alexejczyk, man. If you've been watching the channel, you'll know that I am a fan of Mikhail Alexejczyk. And if you watched the prediction video, or if you just were on Reddit before this fight happened, you might have seen Mikhail had posted something, or he replied to a comment on his Instagram with a very concerning response, basically saying that he thought that he was going to lose this fight versus Shara, and that if he loses, he will be done with sports. However, when he came out, all that shit went out the window. I think Mikhail was really trying, and it showed, man. This is also, I think, one of the fights where there was insane glazing for Shara, like just nutty glazing. Shara was piecing him up, but like Mikhail was getting his licks in too, especially early on. I know some people, I think there was a couple 30-27s in there, but like the first round, I thought Mikhail had dropped Shara. Now maybe Shara was off balance, it wasn't a true knockdown. UFC likes to fuck around. Specifically, actually, with Mikhail Alexejczyk, they like to fuck around and not give him his knockdowns. Because he did the same thing against Kevin Holland, and that was not considered a knockdown, I think. But Mikhail was able to make this one to go to decision at least, which was kind of like a silver lining. We got to see more out of Mikhail, but Shara really does have a good understanding of not only range, but he also has the diverse array of techniques, striking techniques to keep people at range, utilize that speed. Not as much power from Shara as maybe we thought he had, but the thing is, with his speed and technique and the timing, it does damage. It still does damage, even though these shots don't look like they're the heaviest shots coming in. They cut people open. Specifically, there was one elbow that hit Mikhail while he was coming in that sliced him bad, man. And after that, it was kind of a wrap. The visuals were horrible. Moving on. Shara is able to get that one done by decision. Mikhail ends up on top, but still, like... And you want to know the craziest thing? Mikhail ends up on top, right? He lands some shots. Shara throws up, like, one elbow or, like, 3 elbows. And then you hear DC, he's winning from the bottom. He's winning the fight from the bottom. Like, DC, bro. Do they pay you extra for that? Do they pay you extra to glaze? Like, come on now. Like... Shit's going crazy a little bit. It was nutty. There's always an element of commentary glazing, a commentary neck, as we call it in the city, but it was egregious. It was egregious this week. Shara gets it done. Shara is nowhere near as invincible and as a phenom as we think, though. I hope that you guys come to that same conclusion. I think that there is someone waiting to knock Shara the fuck out. He's waiting in the wings. I don't know who it is, but someone's waiting. So someone has Shara's number, and that's going to be that's going to be a great day for the sport when Shara gets fucking... I almost said gets sent to hell, but when Shara gets his consciousness separated from his body, that will be a good day for UFC fans. Moving on. The main event, Corey the Sandman Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar got this one done. I actually thought Umar was going to finish Corey, but he didn't. He won by decision. A very dominant decision. Corey, I think, was just one step behind. He was not getting, like, particularly dog-walked, but he never was in the driver's seat. He never was leading the dance, despite what fucking Daniel Cormier might have said, or Paul Felder, despite what they were saying, that never happened. That never once happened, actually. Umar was always leading in terms of strikes, in terms of grappling, although when it comes to the grappling, Corey Sandhagen showed insane takedown defense multiple times. He kept on doing that fucking Granby roll on the ground, and he would just get deeper into back control. And I was just like, bro, like, chill with that. You gotta chill with that. It looks good. It looks good. It's very entertaining to watch. It's like, oh, cool. Like, and I'm sure to people that don't watch the sport or don't train, that's probably like some insano shit to see. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. It gets me hyped too, but he tried that roll like 8 times, and every time he would just end up deeper. There might have only been one time where it actually kind of worked to like get him into a scramble where he was able to get away. Like, Umar is that guy. He's nice. He's nice like that. Like, Corey Sandhagen, extremely technical fighter. You'll hear everyone say cerebral, cerebral, cerebral. I think there's a difference between a cerebral fighter and a extremely talented technical fighter, okay? Cerebral cannot just mean, oh, they know a lot of techniques and they change their techniques. Like, nah, brother. Cerebral is breaking down the other dude's style. Like, legit, that's what that is to me. Like, you can see someone coming at you, trying to do their game, trying to get their game plan in motion, and you counter it at every turn. That with a better technique, with a better style. That's a cerebral fighter to me. Like, not like, oh, this guy knows a lot of techniques and he uses multiple techniques from multiple disciplines. No, that's just being well-versed. That's just being well-versed. And I don't say this to shit on Corey Sandhagen, man. I'm sure he's a phenomenal coach. If he said that he would train me, I'd fucking fly out there right now. But he did lose extremely decisively. That was never in doubt. Umar gets it done, man. And Umar shows us he's him. He's actually fucking him. It's going to be a problem. It's really going to be a problem if you want to fight him. Fantastic fight. I thought the main event was actually not as entertaining as it was hyped up to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more crazier. People were going to getting hurt more. A lot more decisive moments. But really, it was just Umar winning the fight. Pretty much. Pretty good card. Pretty good card overall. Count it up super quickly. Let's see how we did. Cedric Dumas, 1-0. Jai Herbert, 1. So 1-1. Sam Hughes, 1-2. Garam, 2-2. Shamil Gaziev, 3-2. Cowie Fernandez, 4-2. Azamat Mirzakhanov, 4-3. Joel Alvarez, 4-4. Mackenzie Dern, 4-5. I was spooked. Then we had Michael Chiesa, 5-5. Davison Figueiredo, 6-5. Shara, 7-5. And then finally Umar for 8-5 on the picks. Not too shabby, not too great though. But anyways, decent night of fights. Decent night of fights. Please tell them to work on the commentary. If anyone from the UFC would ever possibly come across this video for whatever godforsaken reason, you gotta tell dudes, let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill with the glazing, please. Because it ruins the fight. Sometimes it deadass ruins the fight. If you're watching a dude that you picked, you don't even have to pick the guy. If it's just a guy that maybe you're like, oh shit, I like the way that dude fights. You've never seen him fight before and you just like him right now. When you see those fighters start making their way back into the fight and at every turn they just glaze the opponent and they're like, the opponent's stopping him right here, like blah, blah, blah. It just fucking ruins it, man. It fucking ruins it. It's horrible, bro. It's horrible. I'd rather, like, just pure color commentary. Just say, oh, this person punched. This person did that. Instead of all this bullshit. I'd rather hear DC, Paul Felder, and fucking, I forget who it was. It was that other UK guy. But I'd rather they talk about bullshit. Like, they sometimes get sidetracked and they start talking about other shit. I'd rather they talk about that the entire fight than glaze. I'll say it. I'd rather they talk about something completely unrelated to fucking fights than hear these rats just suck and glaze at every turn. Like, it's horrible, man. It was super fucking blatant. Super fucking blatant during multiple fights, specifically during Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya, that was a big one because I remember they were sucking off Jai Herbert and saying, man, he's like, he should be like about to like double up on strikes or some bullshit. Then they showed the graphic of significant strikes and Rolando Bedoya was leading him, you bitch ass. Like, that, how is this possible? How the fuck is that possible? They get paid. That's what I'm saying. They get paid. It's not like they're volunteering to do the commentary, and so their bias comes out even more. They're getting paid. Holy shit, man. Again, the Victoria Dudikova and Sam Hughes shit, that was also biased as a motherfucker. I think that also maybe influenced the judging. Let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? And anyone else? Oh, Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner. That was actually not too crazy. I'll take that one back. Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez. Major slop. Major slop. Mackenzie Dern came out throwing insane strikes and missed, I think, no bullshit, like her first, like, 7 to 10 strikes. Like, whiffed. Air. Notable on TV. And then, like, 30 seconds later, I am pretty sure, again, it was DC. He was like, Mackenzie Dern has been coming out and landing at will. I was like, bro, are we watching the same fight? Like, what is happening here? And I don't quote DC verbatim. He didn't exactly say that, but he said something close to that. So that was that. Let's see. Marlon Vera versus Davison Figueiredo. They were cutting Marlon some slack, giving him a little bit too much credit. Shara Bullet. They were just sucking Shara off from the moment this fight started to it ended. The Corey Sandhagen shit, I mean, unless a fight is, like, really, like, someone's getting their ass whooped, I'm not expecting them to say, like, oh, this guy's definitely losing every round. So I'll cut them some leeway with that one. But overall, man, spooky hours fights. I think that's it for the recap, but on to other business. Thank you guys, all of you, the viewers, for 50 subscribers. The first real, like, milestone, you could say, of this channel. Means a bit to me. Means quite a bit, actually. You know, I remember about, let's see, we started making picks 7 or 8 months ago on this channel. My channel had been long dormant before then. Used to make some basketball videos back in the day and some other videos that have been unlisted now, but you can see some of those basketball videos still there with me and my boy. But I had about 12, maybe 15 subscribers, I think, when I started making videos again. Now we're at to 50. Took a while, but we got there. Hopefully it just keeps going from here, man. Expect to see new content soon. Actually, I literally am working on it outside. Working on some content surrounding degeneracy, specifically IP2. If you know what that means, just me saying it, then it's already, I want to say it's already too late for you, but you can look forward to that eventually. A little bit of IP2 and how it relates to possibly Don Quixote. That's what I'm trying to work on. But that's enough of that. That's a little sneak preview. Might start doing some movie reviews and some other reviews just of shit that I've been consuming in the meanwhile, but you can't expect to see more content coming soon. As always, the fight picks will continue on until the wheels fall off. 50 subscribers means that we can live stream. There will be fight companions. There will be fight companions. Now, I do have to hit up YouTube, though, because even though I have 50 subscribers, when I go to the live streaming thing, it says you need 50 subscribers to start live streaming, and I'm just like, question mark, question mark. I'm going to get that sorted out. I'm not too sure if there are fights this weekend. If there are, then that will be the first fight companion. You can tune in, live stream it. I'll have, from the first early prelim, we will watch it the entire way through. It's going to be fire. Excuse me for a second, just while I check out if there are any fights coming up this weekend. Hopefully there's not a little break. God, when there's a break in the UFC, man, it's just like pain, pain. That's my sad life. Tapology. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. There is a fight next week. There are fights next week. Oh yes, Tybura versus Spivak 2. Anything interesting off rip? Chumpy Mariscal versus Damon Jackson. That actually might be fire. Javid Basharov versus Chris Gutierrez. That might be fire as well. Holy shit, Chelsea Chandler is on the main card for some fucking reason. Chelsea Chandler, some of you may remember, she was the chick that had that infamous fucking chase scene, one of the best chase scenes in the UFC. That was fire. That was fire. Oh, Alan Nascimento versus Rafael Filo. That's actually not bad. Danny Barlow. Danny Left-Hand to God Barlow. Nice, man. Good to see him back. Who the fuck are some of these people? A lot of women's fights on this one. Jarno Aarons. Whoa. Oh, God. I'm scared. These fights might be mid as a motherfucker. Hey. Looking like a little bit of a filler event, but fuck it. We'll get to that when we get to that. Expect the picks. I wouldn't expect them today, but you can maybe expect them tomorrow. Tomorrow being Monday. Monday the 5th, I believe. Fantastic, man. Good night of fights overall. If you stayed around this long, I commend you. Leave a comment down below if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below if you disliked the video. Also, like the video and dislike the video. But if you dislike the video, let me know why you dislike it. I don't give a fuck if you dislike the video. Dislike bomb the shit out of it. But just let me know. If you just don't like me, don't like my cadence, the way I talk, my mannerisms, if you think that my takes are absolutely abysmal, let me know. Let me know if I'm tweaking, man. Let me know. If you want to see some kind of content, let me know. Let me know anything, please, please. I'm trying to build more of the community, get some people talking in there. I'll always respond to any comment, good or bad. Unless it's like actual crazy shit. Like, there was one person that commented one time, Agay Bo. Like, they literally wrote Agay Bo. It was A-G-A-Y space B-O. I have no fucking clue what that means, but I did respond, and I wrote Agay Bo. I responded with the same thing. I don't know why I told that story right now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, please. Please subscribe. 95% of you, or more than that, are not subscribed. So please subscribe. Wait for more content. As always, much love. Big kiss, man. Thank you for 50 subscribers.